Thanks for joining me on About Alberta Tech, which is focused on introducing Alberta tech companies to Albertans. Our goal is to share the innovation and diversity that exists in the province in quick bites. My name is Lenora Thomas, and today I'm joined by Adrian, who is the CEO at Athennian. I almost said that wrong. How are you today, Adrian?
I'm good.
Excellent. So let's start with some background on you. How did you get into tech?
Yeah, so I'm actually from Toronto, and then I moved to Calgary after I finished law school about seven years ago now. I was working at a large law firm in Calgary, and had an idea for how corporate paralegals might be able to work better and more efficiently. Found a couple of software engineers that were interested in the concept, and we started the company. So that was in 2017.
Oh, wow. And for those who are not familiar with your company, what does Athennian do?
Yeah, so Athennian is software that is used by law firms and legal departments. And what it does is it helps them manage high volumes of legal entities. So corporations, limited partnerships, trusts, LLCs. And so our category is called legal entity management. And so what we do is paralegals spend typically most of their day in our software, and it helps them manage data and generate a variety of documents. And then get those documents signed, and then do filing with the government and so on. And so it's really a productivity platform for paralegals, corporate paralegals. And so our customers are, anywhere from sort of 50 entities all the way up to our largest customers have 20, 30,000 entities that they manage in our software.
Oh, that's a lot. And for them, what sort of benefit does it give them in terms of that productivity? Does it speed things up, 5 times what they would normally have been able to do?
Yeah, so something, like a fairly routine task would be something like replacing a director on a company. And so without Athennian, that could take anywhere from sort of 3 to 4 hours of actual working time. And that's not including, following up to get signatures and stuff like that. In Athennian, that process takes 5 minutes.
That's
so it's a
pretty good cost benefit.
Yes, yeah, totally. So it's a very significant cost benefit. And a lot of the work that we automate is work that people don't really want to do anyways. And the reality is that there's always way more work than there are paralegals available. So the software is really automating the work that no one wants to do and allows people to work on far more interesting tasks.
Gets rid of that pesky paperwork.
Yeah, totally. And it also reduces a lot of risk of human error. So when you're filling out in this kind of category, there's a high volume of small documents, so 1 or 2 page documents that have a lot of the same information on them. And so there's a really high risk of putting the wrong piece of information on a document and it being wrong, and then it gets signed and then has to get fixed later on. So it's a good application for software that can do that sort of high volume more boring stuff.
Cool. And how do you handle the different jurisdictions? Because if you're in Toronto versus Alberta, there would be some different elements to the legal side of things, right?
Yep. Yeah. So we're a global company. So we have customers throughout the Americas, Europe, Asia Pacific, and actually also in Africa. We have a number of customers in South Africa. So the platform's able to scale globally. Biggest question we get is how we handle different jurisdictions and different legal landscapes as it relates to the documents. And so we've built some very elegant technology that allows our users to bring their own documents, which is important because so they can set their own documents to be automated in Athennian. And that's important because on top of jurisdictions, there's also just preference. Different organizations have a preference for, for what their documents look like. So even within jurisdictions, documents look different depending on the customer.
Okay, and that makes sense. If it's in Asia, you might have a completely different character set that goes along with that. So with that sort of thing, so you don't have to set the legal templates, you allow them to use theirs, which still has that huge benefit for them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very cool. And so when you were starting Athennian, why did you choose Alberta?
It was just where we were located at the time. So Alberta chose us, I guess. It wasn't intentional.
Okay. And how did you find starting a startup in Calgary?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So typically where I get that question a lot. Typically where I start, and we've grown Athennian from just a handful of us as co-founders. Now we're at 35 people, and into millions of revenue. So on that journey, how I would describe it is, there's no way to put it nicely. You're at a disadvantage building a technology company in Alberta, I think. As someone that's from Toronto, and I have friends that are building, companies in Toronto, Vancouver, San Francisco, you are lacking capital. You're lacking, huge talent pools and specialized expertise. And what I think you're really lacking as well is density of early stage customers. If you're a B2B product, it's the businesses in Alberta are not ones that will take early bets on new products, and they're very conservative. So those are the realities of the conditions of, and it always bothers me a little bit when I hear, government leaders saying that this is the best place to start a company, because there's a lot of reasons why it's not. But your job as an entrepreneur is to take advantage of of the hands that's being dealt to you and flip it and use that to your advantage. And so that scarcity, scarcity of capital, scarcity of talent, scarcity of customers, how we look at that is it's really forced us to build an incredibly durable business. One that's very capital efficient. So we always know our numbers, and if we ever need to not rely on investors for capital, we know that we can operationally and run on cash flow. And so when you have, these big unforeseen events like a global pandemic and all of the economic volatility that's come with it, it allows us to be resilient and durable and survive through it. And when you look at, markets like, Toronto or New York or San Francisco for tech companies, you see a huge volume of nice to have products that are being built that are extremely fragile through when capital tightens, or when budgets tighten and so on. And so, the downside of Alberta is, I think you're deprived of a lot of things, but in that scarcity, it just forces you to build an incredibly durable business that is need to have, not nice to have. And I think when you look at Alberta's tech industry, you see a lot of products that are back office B2B, industrial technology, agricultural technology. The technology businesses are, very, very durable. We often get called, oh, I dropped my headphone. We also, we often get called, one of our investors, refers to us as the janitorial of legal. We're just the plumbing. You can't get rid of us.
No.
You can't, if you don't know who your directors are and who owns the shares of that company and the registration number of that company, you can't do anything else. It's just, it's very unsexy work. It's very unsexy, information, but without it, you can't do anything that is sexy. This investor actually said to us, I'm going to invest in you because you can't fire the toilet. Right. And at times like this, you want to be the toilet because the toilet doesn't get fired.
That I was not expecting that. It's very true though.
I know.
With many of the people that I've been interviewing, it is they're longer term companies, or they have been very focused on something that is a needed product, something that brings revenue, profit, the things of time. And so it's intriguing that that's what you're seeing as well from your standpoint.
Yeah.
Okay. So next question up, what are you growing towards with Athennian?
Yeah. So, we're on a mission to give our users who are primarily paralegals superpowers. We really think that paralegals are the ones that will drive a lot of transformation in the legal services market. We think they're often underlooked as significant drivers of change, but we really believe in them, and we want to give them the tools that they need to drive that change. And so, we're really focused at being as successful at that as possible. And so, we have, an amazing product and an amazing team and an amazing roadmap. And it's really just about, helping as many paralegals as possible by getting them onto our platform. And so right now we are, we're closing in on 100 customers right now, and our goal is to be triple that by the end of 2020.
That is very cool. Okay, and what else do you think our community should know about you and Athennian?
Yeah. Oh wow. That's a hard question, actually. That's a good one. What else? Yeah, I mean, we've got a great office in Calgary. It's right on the Beltline. So once this pandemic passes, all the food trucks park in front of our office, and we've got a great team, and we're always looking to hire great people. So on our website, there's a careers page, and if you're interested in building globally scalable products, then see if there's a posting, and if there's not, just reach out to somebody on LinkedIn. In fast growth companies, the best advice I can give people that are looking to break into tech is, don't, or are already in tech, is don't be limited to the postings on the jobs page. Typically companies that are growing fast, we're always just looking for smart, ambitious people, and there's always work to be done. And so, to just reach out to us, and there's, and if you're a good fit, there's probably a job for you.
That is great information for people to have. I'll make sure that I include that in the blog.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. I totally appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks so much.